So we are at St. Thomas Ghost Town. The lush, muddy river valley shown below is dramatically changed from January of 1865 when the town's namesake, Thomas Smith, and nearly a dozen Mormon men and women arrived at the confluence of the Virgin and Muddy Rivers to build a community of St. Thomas. Brigham Young, president of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, Mormons, called for a settlement along the freight route from the Colorado River to Salt Lake City. The Colorado River is 23 miles south. They struggled to survive the early years, but settlers were hardy and with determined spirit set about establishing this Mormon settlement in the middle of the Mojave Desert. By 1866, 45 families were building homes and planting crops in the Muddy River Valley. So, from what I've read about this, the Mormons settled here thinking that it was still in Utah. 2.5 mile loop trail. But yeah, they settled here thinking that this was still Utah. And later, many years later, I guess, quite a few years later, they realized that they were in Nevada. And the Nevada government was coming after them for back taxes, being that they didn't pay any because they didn't know they were living in Nevada. A lot of the families moved out without paying the back taxes and burned down the buildings and whatever. So when they built the Hoover Dam and Lake Mead was formed, yeah, so's that.
How makes that?
I don't know, horses, cows, it could be free range still. It flooded out the town, and so the remaining residents, a few of them there were forced to leave. At one time when the water was high, they actually, the city was under 60 feet of water. But now with all the droughts, I'm not sure how long ago, but a lot of the water is receded, obviously, and the city is now accessible again. So imagine if for some reason the droughts ever go away, the city could be back underwater. But for now, you get to come visit it. I thought you could get closer to it, but you can't. So it's like a mile and some change walk, which that's fine. It'll be cool. Keep the amount of people visiting down once they get here and realize they have to walk that far to go see it. But yeah, so we're gonna go check it out and see what we can see. So we'll see you over there. All right, so here it says, wanted, back taxes. Initially, the settlers of St. Thomas thought they were in Utah or Arizona territories, as the boundary lines were not well defined. December 19th, 1870, a boundary survey determined that St. Thomas was actually in Nevada. County tax collectors demanded settlers pay several years of back taxes in gold or silver coin immediately. The settlers had little faith that the tax payments made to Nevada would be used responsibly, and they did not possess the required currency, as payments to Utah and Arizona were made by informal bartering systems. Interesting. The townspeople turned to Brigham Young for advice. He allowed them to take a vote to stay or go. The next day, December 20th, 1870, the majority voted 63-2, wow, to abandon St. Thomas. The original settlers departed, but because of the attractiveness of the area, St. Thomas was gradually repopulated over the next decade. That's Brigham Young. He was one of the initial settlers. Daniel Benelli and his family remained in the area to operate the Benelli Ferry along the Colorado River. He also operated the salt mine and was a successful rancher. Benelli invested in the irrigation systems that were already in place, so as people moved back to St. Thomas, he benefited monetarily. Interesting. Oh, so that would be the original... What?
Monetarily. Show me the money.
Yeah. Nevada, 1864, 1866, and then down here, 1867, and St. Thomas. Very interesting. That I've never seen. All right, well now, I guess I remembered correctly. Little map of the town. A car on the road in St. Thomas. Water from what will be Lake Mead can be seen advancing in the background circa 1938. St. Thomas was a stop along the Arrowhead Trail. The Arrowhead Trail was the first designated automobile route between Salt Lake City and Los Angeles. The hard work of maintaining the road often fell to the residents. They agreed to rake more than 100 miles of this dirt road to keep it in good condition throughout the year. The Arrowhead Trail was considered an all-weather road as its route stayed at lower elevations, so it did not have to close in the winter. This allowed the local economy to prosper. Virgin River Bridge, crossing the sometimes treacherous waters of the Virgin River, became easier with the building of this bridge in 1915. After surviving numerous floods, the bridge burned in 1925. Clark County commissioners were aware the rising waters of a future reservoir, now known as Lake Mead, would eventually flood the town. The Arrowhead Trail was rerouted to the north. Today, Interstate 15 follows that route. As you explore St. Thomas, note the stumps that line either side of the roads. A variety of trees watered by irrigation ditches once provided shade throughout the town, making it an oasis in the middle of the desert. Very cool. St. Thomas reappears. St. Thomas was once covered by more than 70 feet of water. Lake Mead, time and again, receded and then engulfed this small town, located 54 miles upstream from Hoover Dam. Anglers, boaters, and swimmers played above these ruins over the years. Today, visitors walk among the foundations, imagining daily life as it unfolded in St. Thomas more than 100 years ago. 1945, 1965. Is that a piano? Looks like a piano. Oh, they got real cars. 1948. These streets, originally lined with tall shade trees and filled with laughter, have hosted reunions of former residents proud of their family connections to this town, which would be really cool. Over the years, family members have returned to celebrate and honor their pioneer past and parents, grandparents, and neighbors who courageously settled this remote and beautiful part of the Mojave Desert. At the 1965 reunion, former U.S. Senator Berkeley L. Bunker, wearing a beat-up old hat, told the crowd that he had buried his hat next to his house as the lake rose in the 1930s. On the morning of the reunion, he dug it up and plopped it on his head. Ha! That's awesome. 1945. That's the water apparently coming up. I assume that's a foundation, yes?
Yes.
It's gotta be. Look at the concrete floor.
Right.
Okay. Cool. The trail goes that way. Maybe it loops around. Yeah, hopefully it loops around. Is this an old cistern? Oh yeah, look at that. Maybe an old well.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah. Old well. I wonder if there used to be, that actually could have been like deeper, and the
Right.
because of the flooding, it filled the basement in. So maybe that's not just like, well, there's walls there though.
Home sweet home. Life changed little through the decades as people dealt with daily struggles. Excessive heat and illness were all too common, but the settlers persevered.
It's windy.
I notice. Neighbors helped neighbors with planting and harvesting and building. If there was a serious injury or emergency, residents had to travel to a nearby community for help. Homes were built of adobe and later stone or wood brought from the southern Utah and were decorated with handcrafted gables. Surrounded by hedges and cottonwood and other shade trees, St. Thomas was a peaceful little town. Food storage was a little difficult in the desert. A desert cooler, illustration below, consisted of a wooden box draped in wet burlap. Ice arrived in 1912 aboard refrigerated rail cars, and the community welcomed the use of ice boxes. My family told
That's a big dog.
I know, I was looking at the dog and I was like, wow.
So you suppose this is the house from the...
That's what I was thinking.
Wow.
My family told of how difficult it was to sleep at night in the summer. So the richer people had second story with a balcony where people could sleep as they could catch a breeze. On the bottom floor, it was much hotter to sleep at night. They would have a bucket of water by their bed, and they would wet a sheet and and sleep with that over them. When the sheet dried out, it got too hot. They'd wake up and get the sheet wet again. Then
Wow.
fall back asleep.
Jeez. How would you have coped without electric lights, air conditioning, or running water? Well, you just would have, right? Another little foundation. But there's another bigger foundation. Maybe that was like a shed or like a, I don't know. Maybe that was the in-laws' house. This one's pretty big though. There was a little one over there. They actually had a concrete porch, sidewalk. But look at that, real foundation, which is probably the only reason it's still standing. As well as it is anyways. That's a pretty big house though, at one time. I mean, for considering.
For way back when,
yeah. Yep. There's a row of stumps over there. That would be all the trees planted that they were talking about on that plaque. Talking about all the trees that made it a shady place to live. You can see more of them over here. Pretty amazing that the stumps are even still there and haven't just rotted out of the ground. Being that this was all underwater. Every now and then you can see a little piece of concrete sticking out of the ground, like where the well was. All kinds of tree stumps sticking up. This one, they didn't have much left of it. Oh, is this a hotel? You are here, the Gentry Hotel. The post office is over there. Rest for weary traveler. The influential Gentry family owned and operated the 14-room hotel, where it is reported that several governors and senators, as well as President Calvin Coolidge, enjoyed the amenities of this thriving establishment. After the completion of the Arrowhead Trail, more guests stayed at the hotel, requiring Ellen Gentry to hire help. A waitress served patrons in the dining room. Meals were prepared by a cook and a cook's helper, and laundry services were available. Bedrooms were furnished with a bed, wash stand, a pitcher, and wash bowl, but no stoves. Those were reserved for the kitchen, living, and dining rooms. Wow. While in St. Thomas, I worked at the Gentry Hotel. We washed dishes, sheets, and I had to bake bread, churn butter, you name it, I did it. Isabel Whitney. Pretty cool. Wow, that's a fancy place. Not much left of it. And I don't know how the heck this would have been a 14-room hotel. Because it ain't very big. But
All in small rooms.
I guess. Very small rooms. Maybe, well, it's not deep enough. Who knows? Storage, ice boxes. Maybe they made them refrigerators. Or, well, the equivalent of. Artifacts? Maybe artifacts? I don't know why somebody would carry a bunch of broken glass, but maybe that's stuff that's been found. Old steel pieces. A couple of pulleys and stuff. Pretty cool. You gotta wonder, like,
What was that?
well, there's one there and one there.
I see.
Maybe foundation, something was on there. There's one there and there.
Maybe the hotel came out to here. We don't know.
Could have been for a porch.
That could be.
Maybe that was the foundation for the porch. Lots of. I hope that's just people riding in here on their horses. You know what that is? I know what that is. See this? They were talking about him investing in the irrigation system.
Yeah.
Maybe this was a drainage. The water ran down and then collected in this cistern, well, whatever. And yeah, any rain that they actually got maybe would have came down this little trough. There was another one over there that had a lot. It had a whole bunch of that. But more glass. Hopefully that's. It's got to be just like remnants, artifacts of stuff. There's shells all over the place. I thought shells would have been like for the ocean, not for a lake or river. But I guess I'm wrong because there are shells everywhere here. which was pretty nifty. More foundations. All the bricks they had to cut up and shape.
The only people who did this. Yay.
No, there's another truck up there.
Yeah, I know.
The general merchandise store. Oh, look at that. A postcard. Look at the stamps.
Awesome.
3 cents. 3 cents for a stamp. Several thousand letters were canceled on the last day before the waters rose. Interesting. Bureau of Reclamation. Party gathers at the St. Thomas Post Office. Summer of 1929. The post office, the Gentry Hotel were there. Postmaster Harry Gentry, who is the same person that had the hotel, right? The Gentry? Built a Gentry store next to the hotel. This was a daily stop for most residents who bought goods and shared news while waiting for the mail to arrive. My family canned peaches, pears, apricots, grapes, and delicious Isabella and Concord grape juice. Most of this was sold to Gentry's store. Cool. The school. That is a big school. Look at the windows are broken. That's too bad. All the little kids. The steps these children are posed on rose to a 2-story masonry school building constructed in 1915. The structure consisted of 4 classrooms, a large auditorium, and a space upstairs for dances and plays. The school, with 8 grades, was in session until 1932. Wow. All the kids and their horses. Schoolhouse down there. Wow. Look at that. Students bound for high school in nearby Overton bounced along in a converted Model T truck, Ford truck, lined with benches. Flora Keller remembers calling the bus the churn and having an uncomfortable ride over rough gravel and dirt roads. Yeah, school bus going to the... Wow. That's awesome. This was a very nice building. It's weird though, the pedestals on there, unless they were lined with bricks, but they don't. Oh, look at the rebar. It's twisted steel. It's like, yeah, it's like a square steel, twisted. Well, we're almost done, I think. All right, so 2 visitors at St. Thomas stand among what remained of the Hannig ice cream parlor in the 1930s, which would be this here, the grocery store and gas station, old gas pump, Red Crown gasoline, never heard of it, but yeah. So this was the ice cream store. Nice ice cream store. More remnants of stuff. It's an old axle. Look at that, threads. There's threads on the... But yeah, I don't know. I thought that was a chimney, but apparently not. I don't know what it is. Maybe just a support for the 3 walls, I guess. More steel artifacts. Who knows what that... The wall's falling down. That's too bad. Well, maybe it was a chimney. There's a hole in it. Uh-oh. Not really. Yeah, I don't know where the heck it would have been a chimney from. Because there's a hole on that side. Huh. Strange. I don't know. Layers of concrete for the wall. Boy, I hope this stuff stays standing for... It doesn't all end up like this. It says something about it though. If it was built 100 and some odd years ago, and there's actually still parts of it standing, and the fact that it was under 60 feet of water at one point, and there's still that much of it standing. Pretty cool. Well, this is the last one on the circle tour around the town. You can see, I think you can see, That was the ice cream and grocery store. And the school was over there. And there's white, the little signs over there. So yeah, it went all the way around. But this will be the last stop. And it's going to be getting dark soon, and we got to walk all the way over there where our car is up on the hill. So a bit of a hike ahead of us. So, alright. Well, I'm going to close this video out with that. I hope you enjoyed the tour and didn't mind me stumbling over my words on some of the signs. It's a little chilly. My nose is cold. So, hope you enjoyed this. I know I said I was going to close the video out, but hiking all the way down, all around the loop. Now we got to hike back up. My knees are killing me. I know, I'm bitching. My back hurts. That'll be like 5 miles we walked today. It was all good. It's fun. Definitely would do it again. But wow, I am ready to go relax. But the hot tub, unfortunately, at our hotel is closed due to stupid COVID. But we can sit at the restaurant, have some food, maybe have a beer or something, and enjoy ourselves for the evening. Maybe edit some videos, you know, so we can get these out at some point. But anyhow, we have to go up there where those signs are at. I won't record this that much because, you know, you don't want to listen to me sitting there huffing and puffing again like in the other video. Anywho, yeah, if you come here ever, St. Thomas Ghost Town, Lake Mead National Park, be prepared. It's cool, but be prepared because it is definitely a heck of a hike. So, alright, I'm out. See ya.